5 things narcissists do when you start healing. You're finally starting to feel like yourself again. The fog is lifting. The constant anxiety is fading. You went an entire day without checking their social media, maybe 2 days. You're sleeping better, laughing more. Your friends have noticed the change, and then, out of nowhere, they appear. A text, an email, a mutual friend reaching out on their behalf. Sometimes they show up at your job. Sometimes they just happen to be at the coffee shop you go to every morning. And you think, is this a coincidence? Is this fate telling me something? Maybe they really have changed. It is not a coincidence. It is not fate, and they have not changed. What you're experiencing has a name. It is a predictable pattern that researchers and clinicians have documented for decades. And once you understand it, you will never be fooled by it again. Welcome to Predator Psychology, where we decode the minds that manipulate and arm the minds that heal. Here is what I'm going to show you today. The 5 specific behaviors narcissists exhibit when they sense you are healing, the psychological mechanisms that drive each one, and most importantly, how to recognize these tactics so they lose their power over you. Because here is what nobody tells you about recovery. The moment you start getting better is often the moment they come back. And that is not an accident. Your healing is a threat to them, not because they love you, but because your independence reminds them that they are not as powerful as they need to believe. Let me explain why this happens. Narcissists operate on something clinicians call narcissistic supply. Think of it as psychological fuel. They need constant attention, admiration, and emotional reactions from others to regulate their own fragile self-esteem. Without it, they feel empty, powerless, desperate. You are a source of that supply, a reliable one. They knew exactly which buttons to push, exactly how to get a reaction, exactly how to keep you orbiting around them. And when you start healing, when you stop providing that supply, something inside them destabilizes. Dr. Ramani Durvasula, one of the leading experts on narcissistic abuse, puts it this way. Narcissists do not like to lose. When you attempt independence, they will try to suck you back in. Your healing represents a loss of control they cannot tolerate. So what do? The same 5 things. Every time. Same playbook, different predator. Let us break them down. Number 1, they hoover you. The term comes from the Hoover vacuum cleaner. They try to suck you back in. Hoovering can look like many things. Sometimes it is the innocent-seeming text. Hey, just thinking about you. Sometimes it is a long, emotional email about how much they have changed, how they started therapy, how they will regret losing you for the rest of their life. Sometimes it is a crisis. They are in the hospital. They lost their job. They have no one else to turn to. And sometimes it is a love-bombing revival. Flowers, grand gestures, all the intensity of those early days when they made you feel like the center of the universe. Here is what makes hoovering so effective. It exploits something deep inside you. Dr. Ramani explains that many people carry a fantasy from childhood, the fantasy of being chosen, of being cherished. If you did not get that growing up, and then someone comes back, hat in hand saying, I choose you, that can be incredibly hard to resist. But here's the truth you need to understand. Hoovering is not love. It is supply-seeking behavior. They are not coming back because they miss you. They are coming back because their current supply ran dry, or because your thriving triggered their need to prove they still have power over you. The timing tells you everything. Hoovering often arrives at predictable moments. Holidays, especially from Halloween through Valentine's Day. Your birthday, the anniversary of when you met. And crucially, right when you start doing visibly better. A new job, a new relationship, posting happy photos. Dr. Ramani warns that hoovering can happen at any time. Some people may not hoover for 10 years and then suddenly resurface. Their personality has not changed. The relationship would not change. So look alive. The pattern is the protection. When you see hoovering for what it is, a manipulation tactic rather than genuine remorse, it loses its magic. Number 2, they launch a smear campaign. When hoovering does not work, narcissists often shift from seduction to destruction. A smear campaign is a deliberate, systematic effort to destroy your reputation. They tell lies, spread rumors, twist facts, and turn people against you. Dr. Ramani calls this large-scale gaslighting. Here is how it works. They contact your friends, your family, sometimes your coworkers. They present themselves as the reasonable one, the victim, the person who tried everything, but you were just too difficult, too unstable, too crazy. Sound familiar? They say things like, I am really worried about her. She has been acting so erratic lately. Or, I did not want to say anything, but you should know what she did to me. The goal is threefold. First, they want to control the narrative before you can tell your side. Second, they want to isolate you from your support system. Third, they want revenge for the narcissistic injury you caused by leaving. Research backs this up. A 2023 systematic review published in the Journal of Family Trauma documented what researchers call mesosystem abuse, where perpetrators target survivors through schools, employers, neighbors, and friends. The study found that abusers commonly spread rumors about survivors' mental health or character, portraying them as unfit or unstable. If you are experiencing a smear campaign, know this: you cannot control what they say about you. You can only control how you respond. The people who believe the narcissist without hearing your side were never truly your people. And the people who know you, really know you, will see through the lies. Your healing, your continued thriving despite their attacks, is the most powerful rebuttal you can offer. Number 3, they deploy flying monkeys. This term comes from The Wizard of Oz, where the Wicked Witch sends her flying monkeys to do her bidding. In the context of narcissistic abuse, flying monkeys are the friends, family members, and acquaintances the narcissist recruits to act on their behalf. They might not even know they are being used. Dr. Ramani defines them as enablers who act on behalf of narcissists. They engage in gaslighting by proxy, triangulation, gossip, and smear campaigns. They become surrogates, emissaries, and drones in the narcissist's network. Flying monkeys might show up in your life saying things like, "You know, they really miss you. They have been so sad since you left." Or, "I think you are being too hard on them. Everyone makes mistakes." Or, "They told me what you did. How could you?" The flying monkey may genuinely believe they are helping. The narcissist has told them a carefully constructed story that paints you as the villain and themselves as the wounded party. The flying monkey thinks they are doing a good deed. But here's what you need to understand. Whether the flying monkey has good intentions or not, their function is the same. They maintain the narcissist's psychological presence in your life, even when you have blocked all direct contact. This is why going no contact sometimes is not enough. You may need to limit contact with anyone who serves as a conduit back to the narcissist. Not out of punishment, but out of protection. Number 4, they triangulate with new supply. Triangulation means bringing a third party into your dynamic to create jealousy, insecurity, and confusion. Dr. Ramani calls it one of the favorite tools of a narcissist because it keeps people feeling off balance, insecure, and unsure of where they stand. When you start healing, triangulation often shows up in a specific way. They make sure you know about their new partner. They post photos. They show up places with this new person. Mutual friends casually mention how happy they seem. Sometimes, the narcissist reaches out directly to tell you they have moved on, often with details designed to hurt you. Here is what they want you to feel. They want you to think, maybe it was me. Maybe they were capable of treating someone well, just not me. Maybe I was not good enough. This is the lie. The truth is that new partners experiencing the same idealization phase you once experienced. The same charm, the same intensity, the same feeling of being the center of the universe. And eventually, they will experience the same devaluation and discard. The pattern is the pathology. It was not about you then. It is not about you now. It is about them and the cycle they repeat with every relationship. When you see triangulation for what it is, a desperate attempt to provoke jealousy and pull you back in, you can observe it without being destabilized by it. Number 5, they escalate. This is the most important one to understand, and potentially the most dangerous. When hoovering fails, when the smear campaign does not break you, when the flying monkeys cannot reach you, when triangulation does not provoke the jealousy they wanted, narcissists sometimes escalate. Escalation can take many forms: increased contact attempts, showing up uninvited, threatening self-harm if you do not respond. In extreme cases, stalking, harassment, or worse. Research on post-separation abuse reveals alarming statistics. A landmark study found that 44% of women murdered by intimate partners had separated or were in the process of leaving. The combination of a highly controlling partner plus separation increased the risk of lethal violence nearly 9-fold. I'm not saying this to frighten you. I am saying this because your safety matters more than anything else in this conversation. If you are dealing with escalation, please take it seriously. Document everything. Tell people you trust. Consider consulting with a domestic violence advocate or law enforcement if the behavior becomes threatening. But here's what I also want you to understand about escalation. When a narcissist escalates because their tactics are not working, it often means your boundaries are working. Their frustration is proof that you are successfully protecting yourself. The escalation is not evidence that you should give in. It is evidence that giving in is exactly what they are trying to force you to do. So what do you do with all of this? First, recognize the pattern. Hoovering, smear campaigns, flying monkeys, triangulation, escalation. These are not random behaviors. They are predictable responses to your healing. Same playbook, different predator. Second, understand that none of this is about you. It is about their need for supply, their intolerance of abandonment, their inability to regulate their own emotions without an external source. Third, protect yourself. No contact is not about punishing them. It is about creating the space you need to heal. And any response, even a negative one, even telling them to leave you alone, provides them with supply. Dr. Ramani is clear on this point. Narcissists do not return because they love or miss their victims. They come back to regain control, boost their ego, and manipulate emotions. The relationship would not change because the personality disorder has not changed. And fourth, keep healing. Your recovery is not a threat to them because you're doing anything wrong. Your recovery is a threat to them because it proves you can survive without them. It proves their control was never as total as they believed. Every day you continue to heal is a day you reclaim yourself. You did not imagine this. You're not too sensitive. You're not crazy. You were targeted. You were manipulated. And now you are waking up. The pattern is the protection. Now you see it. If this shifted how you understand what happened to you, subscribe. There is more to unpack, and you deserve to understand all of it.